Weber and Camp Chef both have a new pellet grill that's breaking ground in the pellet grill market, and it's time for a throwdown to see which one is right for you. We're going to grill a steak, which pellet grills don't traditionally do that well, run a pork butt on each one, and do some chicken wings hot and fast to see which one is worth your hard-earned money. I'm David Gafford with the Barbecue Lab, and we test over 70 different outdoor cooking appliances every year to help you make educated buying decisions. We ran both of these pellet grills against 6 of their competitors back in June, and we've kept these units around to do additional testing based on your comments from that video. Let's get started with some of the cool features that make these two unique in the space. Starting with the Camp Chef, you can't talk about this unit without mentioning the smoke box. As you can see, we have some ashes left over from our last cook, but this is where you can put charcoal, more wood pellets, you can put wood chips, wood chunks, and it has them directly over the firebox to give you additional smoke and smoke flavor. The handle below allows you to control how much air or how much heat you're giving to this, and this is fully open, this is closed, and you can see that baffle in the back. Another feature that makes this unique is that using this drawer, you can cold smoke. If you come over to the controller, you can see that if you press the button on the side of the controller, you can get fan mode. And if you choose fan mode, this will run just the fan, and you can hear that kick up just a little bit. But fan mode speed 5, that is running just the fan on the smoker. No pellet feed, no auger activity. But going back to the smoke box, you could then take this smoke box, light up some charcoal or wood chunks, and have those in here where the only source of fuel is just this. You can light that up with a torch, and then you're just cold smoking with only the heat that's coming off of the smoke from the wood chips or the charcoal. A neat feature on the Woodwind Pro. Another neat thing you can do with the controller here on the Camp Chef is you can set your smoke mode. If you hit set smoke, it'll allow you to set a number, and there's number 1 all the way up to smoke 10. So we're gonna go ahead and set this to the highest smoke level when we run our pork butt test here in just a second, and that's gonna allow us to see if we're getting more smoke flavor due to the controller settings of the smoke level. I also want to point out that instead of the side shelf, here with the Camp Chef system, they have a sidekick that allows you to put either a gas grill, a griddle, or a side burner on this that you can also use with a pizza oven, giving you a lot of other accessory options for the Woodwind Pro series. With the Weber Searwood, something that sets it apart from almost every other pellet grill on the market is there's not a full deflector from back to front, deflecting the heat that comes out of the pellet burn pot. This is something that's unique. This is really more one of those flavorizer bars that runs from left to right on this unit, but it's not a full deflector, and you have more direct heat, giving you the ability to sear across this grill. While we're speaking about searing, this also has a high temperature of 600 degrees that is uncommon in pellet grill spaces. Another unique feature is the smoke boost setting here on the Searwood. And if I hit this button, it's going to say that I need to set a temperature first, but it automatically sets a temperature of 180 degrees to boost the smoke on this unit. There are pros and cons to that. There are cooks that I don't necessarily want to start at 180 degrees and others that I could. Now remember, you don't have to let that run the entire cook, just the first few hours, but that's a neat feature if you want more smoke, and 180 degrees is a target temperature for your first few hours of cooking. There's a feature on the Searwood you don't see in almost any pellet grill on the market, and it's these little cutouts right here. There's an optional rotisserie unit that you can put on a pellet grill, and that's very uncommon. There's also a full griddle top that you can put on here instead of the grill grates, turning your Searwood as a pellet grill into a full griddle. I like the multi-use capability if you want to buy those extra add-ons. One more thing that I want to point out that's a benefit for the Weber Searwood is that it runs about $300 cheaper than the same size Woodwind Pro. So as we compare these, remember the Weber is running a little bit less and the Woodwind Pro about $300 more for the same size. Speaking of size, these are both available in a 24-inch and a 36-inch size. Hey, if you're thinking about making a purchase, be sure to use the links down in the description. It's a great way to support our channel, and we do a lot of work making sure that it takes you to the best price. If you want to support the work we do here at the Barbecue Lab, our Kickstarter to launch our brand new spice blends runs through Cyber Monday. You're about to see us use all 3 spice blends to test these grills, and you can pledge to order any or all of them. Exciting stretch goals are coming if we hit our funding goal, including new seasoning blends as well as Kickstarter rewards. To pledge your support, just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description below. We trimmed the fat cap and seasoned each pork butt generously with our Pork Protocol pork rub. We've got the grills running 250 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and put the pork butt on each of them, and we're gonna see if we can tell a difference between the cook on either of these grills. For these 2 grills, they both come with temperature probes in the box. This is the one for the Camp Chef. This is the one for the Weber. We're gonna go ahead and stick these in our pork butts, and we're gonna track the temperature on the app for both of these to be able to see where we are for the cooks. Stick this right, say there, right into our pork butt. With the Camp Chef, we're gonna go ahead and look at our set temperature, which is 250 degrees. We're running about 18 degrees over right now. But if you notice right here, it says smoke 1. We're gonna go ahead and change the smoke mode on this. We're gonna hit set smoke, and then we're gonna go ahead and set it to smoke mode 10, and we're gonna go ahead and hit enter. Now we are at smoke mode 10, which is gonna give us a more heavy smoke flavor and smoke profile. The other thing we can do with the Camp Chef Woodwind Pro is we can use this basket. In here, I like to take smoke wood and I like to take chunks of charcoal, put it in here, and then let this be the extra flavor that you put on your pork butt. So this is something we're gonna go ahead and test and see if this can get smokier than the Weber Searwood today. On the Weber Searwood, one of the things that we can do is hit the Start Smoke Boost button. If we hit Start Smoke Boost, it says activating at a high temperature will start a cool down process that can delay smoke boost activation by up to 15 minutes. But notice when you hit Start Smoke Boost, what it's going to do, it's going to change the temperature on the grill to 180 degrees. Well, the problem with that is I don't want to actually cook at 180 degrees. I want to cook at 250 degrees. So Smoke Boost is not going to work on this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Stop Smoke Boost. All right, if you look, we've been running these pellet grills for 5.5 hours. Our temperature is set to 250 degrees, and it says we're running 155 on the Weber and 148 on the Camp Chef. So let's go ahead and take a look inside and see what they look like. The color is fascinating between these 2 grills. Let's look at them side by side. You can see the difference in color. The Weber on the left is darker by just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and let them go for another half hour before we wrap things in foil to get a little more color on each. All right, the Weber's telling us we have hit our target of 200 degrees. It's saying we actually have hit 202 degrees and we're still running 250. Now on the Camp Chef, you can see we have 199 degrees in the thermometer and we're running just a little over 250. So these pork butts are done. It's time to get them into a rest situation in our warming drawer here in the outdoor kitchen, and we're gonna have some awesome pulled pork tomorrow. Here's the finished pork butt from the Weber Searwood, and if we pull the bone out to see if it's done, it absolutely is. We have a really nice smoke ring on the meat that's penetrated between about 1/4 inch to 1/3 of an inch, which is really great for a pellet grill. Here on the Camp Chef, the bone pulls out just as easily, and when we check the smoke ring on the meat, it's a little less defined than what we got on the Weber Searwood, but it's definitely still present. For me though, Weber wins this round. Hey, if you're getting value out of this video, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing if outdoor cooking is the thing that just lights you up. It's time to test our hot and fast, and apologies for the audio. A neighbor's got a vacuum truck going. Nothing we can do about it, so we just keep moving on. We're gonna go ahead and set these grills to 400 degrees and see how they do with chicken wings with our own chicken rub, hot and fast. All right, we have them all on the Camp Chef. Time to go ahead and set a timer for 10 minutes. The chicken's on the Weber. Time for a 10-minute timer. Here we are at the 10-minute mark, and here's what we look like on the Weber Searwood. As we flip these over, we've got some nice looking little grill marks on there. Here's what things look like on the Camp Chef. As we flip them over, we've got some nice looking grill marks as well. Not as defined as they are on the Searwood, but let's let these go. Another 5 minutes and we'll check back in. Here we are at the Weber after another 5 minutes. Things are looking good. We're gonna go ahead and let these things roll. Same thing on the Camp Chef. They're looking great, but not anywhere near done. So we're gonna go ahead and let these things go. Another 5 minutes. After another 5 minutes, here we are on the Weber. things are starting to look good. Let's check in. About 194 on that flat. Drummy about 175, so not quite there. And here's the Camp Chef 5 minutes later. Looking good as well. Let's see where we are on the flat. About 195, that's good. Drummy, ooh, that one's actually a little over. That one's right on. I would say these are done on the Camp Chef. Just Weber's gonna need a couple more minutes, but very close on each. We'll pull them off, take a look at them. Here we are a couple minutes later on the Weber, and I think we are almost there. Let's double check. Yep, 191. That one's over 2. We are good to go. Time to pull these off. All right, it's time for a taste test. We have over here the Weber, we have over here the Camp Chef. I've identified 2 flats, one from each. Let's go ahead and start with the Weber. Tasty. I know our rub really well. Tastes just like our rub. Smoky. Good. Okay, the Camp Chef. Great. Honestly, I can't tell a difference between the two. These are super similar. Our rub tastes the same on both grills. I'm going to call this one a draw. I don't think I can call a winner between the two. They were both excellent. Differences in the cook. The Camp Chef cooked a little faster. I think the Camp Chef is running a little hotter than what it's saying. The Weber took a little bit longer, but I feel like the true time would have been the Weber rather than the Camp Chef. It was done earlier than I expected, so I think that one's running a little hot. In just a second, we're going to explore the searing capability of both of these grills. But before we do, I want to pass a question on to you. Do you want your pellet grill to function as a grill or just a smoker? Which is it that you're really after? Do you want a multifunctional grill, or are you okay with this being just a pellet smoker? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. It's time to do a sear test on these 2 grills, and we're going to use strip loins from the Best of Crowd Cow box. If you want more information on Crowd Cow, we'll put it down in the description below, but these strip loin steaks look excellent, and we're gonna cook them using the 2-minute method. Both of these grills have a maximum setting between 500 and 600 degrees, so we're gonna set these grills to the max and see if we can get a sear on these steaks. Here on the Camp Chef Woodwind, if we hit set temperature and we go as high as it will possibly go, high is set to just over 450, which I've seen people say that high is about 500 degrees. So let's go ahead and get that started. Here on the Weber Searwood, if we go ahead and run this up as high as it will go, we will see that the high on this one is set to 600 degrees. We'll go ahead and set that one to go as well, and that will be our comparison. We have our strip steak here, and we have our salt, pepper, garlic seasoning that we're working on here at the Barbecue Lab. We're gonna apply a generous layer on the outside and get this on the grill. Here at the Searwood, we're up to 600 degrees. And in comparison, if you look over here at the Camp Chef, it's only up to about 418 degrees. They were started at the same time. So maybe a consideration if you want to look at startup speed. Weber was faster to this one. But let's go ahead and get this steak on the grill. Right there on the bias. And we're gonna start our timer for 2 minutes. All right, our timer is done. Let's go ahead and flip this 90 degrees. And in 2 minutes, we'll see what our marks look like. After another 2 minutes, it's time to flip and see what our steak looks like. There are your grill marks on the Weber Searwood at the turn. We're gonna go ahead and test this with our trusty thermopin and see what our steak is reading internal. Got about 105 internal, so we're gonna go ahead and let it go another 2 minutes. There's our timer for the rotation. Let's go ahead and get it rotated over here. And let's see what our thermopin is saying, our internal temperature. About 127 to 128. With a little bit of resting, we should be at a nice medium. Camp Chef has hit 500 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and take our steak, put it on, and let's run that 2-minute method. Here we go. It's been 2 minutes. It's time to go ahead and rotate this. Been 2 minutes more. It's time to go ahead and flip this dude over. That's what we're looking like for the initial sear marks on the Camp Chef. Our 2-minute timer is up. Time to get one more rotation on this steak. Let's see where we are internally. About 110. Ouch. So we're gonna go ahead and let this go for another minute or two, and then we'll check it out. Here is our final 2-minute check. Let's see where we are on the temperature front. Only about 115 there. 106 there. After another couple of minutes, we checked it. We're about 125, 124, and we are ready to go ahead and take this off and let it rest. But let's go ahead and answer the question, what does the second side look like when we've had 6 minutes to sear? And that is a 6-minute sear on the Camp Chef. Here they are side by side. This is the Weber Searwood, this is the Camp Chef, and you can look at the difference between the grill marks and the sear between the two. On the Weber, we see defined grill marks. On the Camp Chef, not so much. You can really tell the 100-degree top level difference between the sear on these two steaks. All of the testing is done, and it's time for a few final thoughts about both of these smokers. If you're looking for a low and slow cooker, on this one, the Weber had a little bit better color on the pork butt, even though we didn't utilize the smoke boost setting. We got a nice smoke ring on both of them, but I have to give the W to the Weber on the low and slow cook because that smoke ring was great and that color was just on point. For the chicken wing cook, it was just a tie. They both did an excellent job at that 400-degree chicken wing cook, and I really couldn't tell the difference between either one. I think both of them are very capable in that arena. The steak cook for me really comes down to Weber being the winner. The Crowd Cow steaks were absolutely delicious, and the sear marks that we got on the Weber Searwood were really nice for a pellet grill. We didn't really get great sear marks using the Camp Chef, but that's probably expected because it's running 100 degrees less than the Searwood was, 500 degrees as opposed to 600 degrees, so that's to be expected. Now, I know on these videos, all the time, you're always asking me to pick a winner, but it's hard for me to pick a winner because I don't know your budget. I don't know what it is that you're trying to accomplish in your backyard. But what I can do is tell you my personal preference. And if I was going to pick a smoker between these two, I would choose the Weber Searwood. I love how it grills. I love how it smokes. So for me, the W on this one goes to the Weber Searwood. Now, for those of you who are shocked that I picked a winner, is this something you think we should do every time? And if so, what are the criteria that I should be able to select that by? Let us know down in the comments below, and you can help us with future content. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm David from the Barbecue Lab. Behind the camera is my lovely wife, Melissa, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.